So does Bethesda need a different game engine? Like, absolutely. Yes,
Does
they do.
Bethesda need a different game engine?
Yes,
Is the
they
creation
do.
engine holding Bethesda games back?
I believe
Hello
it is.
and welcome to Horse Armor's Uneducated.
I mean, you know a Bethesda game when you play it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get me wrong. Like it's worked for them for so long. I don't think they can change it for Fallout, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they create any new IPs, they should change the game engine. I think they do, in my opinion, need to go to Unreal Engine 5. I feel like that'd be the best way for them to make Fallout 5 if they make it. Probably be easier, quicker, run smoother, and play way better. Like,
Opinion where I
unbelievably
talk
better.
about things that I have no clue about. It's going to be a real blast, I promise. So I've never personally used the creation engine, but I've played thousands of hours in games made by the creation engine, so I think I can have somewhat of an opinion. 13 years ago, they made Skyrim.
I think the creation engine worked for the games back in 2010, 2011. It worked. It worked great, you know? Especially when you're playing on console. I just feel like nowadays people want way more better movement mechanics and gameplay mechanics these days, and you can't get it out of that
And
engine.
this was the first game that Bethesda made in the creation engine. Most previous games like Fallout 3, Oblivion, Morrowind, they were all made using the Gamebryo engine. Obviously, the leap from something like Oblivion to Skyrim was just crazy because they needed that extra bump in detail that you can see when you put these two games side to side. For fans that played Bethesda games before Skyrim, I feel like we were the most impacted audience demographic when we saw that first gameplay of Skyrim. Like we were just like, what the hell? Like, how do you go from this to that? My only two memorable moments of seeing like a leap like that is Cyberpunk 2077 and Skyrim. For the development of Starfield, they've been using Creation Engine 2, which is the newer version that they'll also be using for the next Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. If you look at the player animations and the draw distance, the lighting effects, like you can really tell a difference. In my opinion, I still think the game is just not fun to play.
I think it looks good, but I feel like Unreal Engine 5 could do a better job running the game.
But I can still recognize that at times it's really beautiful. And I'll admit, like, there is some magic to standing on a planet and, like, seeing other planets far away or seeing sun rays on a planet.
Play No Man's Sky. We get that all day.
With, like, no atmosphere. But I'm not really here to talk about how beautiful the new engine is. I'm going to talk about the scope of a game that Creation Engine is designed to handle. Creation Engine is what you would call a custom engine. It's not like Unity, Godot, or Unreal Engine. Creation was made specifically for a game like Skyrim or Fallout, where you're very grounded and you're just kind of free to explore. It's very good at what it does. It's very good at helping you like run into paths that divert you and take you on like a completely different journey. Like it's visually stunning, it's immersive, and it's fun to play. So it's obvious that the Creation Engine was made for a specific type of gameplay loop. I know they aren't technically similar, but Fallout and Elder Scrolls games have a pretty similar gameplay loop. You walk in a direction, you pick up like 10 new quests, discover handmade dungeons, you upgrade your and you level up. And personally, I don't think something like Starfield works with the Creation Engine.
No.
I know this particular comment I'm about to make has been said a billion times, but the loading screens in Starfield are just a dead giveaway that they were really pushing it with the Creation Engine. Even in a brand new version of the Creation Engine, they needed to find every loophole just to make it work, it feels like. I think that if Starfield was limited to one solar system with like maybe 6 planets, brother, it would have been a million times better. But I understand why they went the route of adding unimaginable and breathtaking scope to the game, but it just does not work, in my opinion. See, here's the thing. Bethesda excels at creating playgrounds. A playground that's 10 miles wide and stuffed with exciting things to do is way easier than trying to manage like a galaxy full of randomly generated playgrounds. And my point is that it rips the immersion straight out of the game. And immersion is important. I don't mean that you have to completely like lose yourself in a game.
But I mean, I feel like, okay, so when it comes to these kind of games, he's totally true. Like, it's hard to do that. No Man's Sky, if you play that game, like, the questing is hard to do. It works in No Man's Sky because you could pick up the quest in any solar system. You could do the quest in any solar system, any part of the, like, it doesn't matter. You reset the quest and it's gonna do it in that area. You know what I'm saying? There's enough of the stuff generated in certain areas to where you could do it. You know, finish the quest and stuff like that. And there's not like a lot of good quest storylines. You know what I mean? It's very basic and rudimentary. But like, I feel like their questing and stuff like that, the gameplay loop gets way too played out, and when you put it into Starfield, it's like yeah, your new planet, cool things, but like you're doing the same thing over and over again on each like planet, or going to each back and forth to each planet. There's loading screens. Like, I thought it was crazy that Fallout still had loading screens walking into a fucking building. I thought that was crazy. I mean, like, that shouldn't even be a thing. And I feel like that's just a failure of the engine. They need to upgrade their engine completely, or like not upgrade the engine, or change to a new engine completely.
It has to make you feel like what you're doing actually matters. Like, I'm not talking about the kind of immersion that Arma 3 or Hell Let Loose gives you, where it like actually gives you PTSD. I mean the kind of immersion that makes you feel like the unsung hero, and you become attached to your character, and you remember your accomplishments.
Yeah, like Fallout 3, Fallout 3, Fallout 4 was good. Skyrim, Elders, like, all of that shit was good.
After taking a step back from being mostly...
The engine worked great with those games. To Starfield, I think it wasn't it.
Negative towards Starfield. I get it. I get what they were going for, but I just think they got lost in the sauce, man. They were trying something on a scale that Creation Engine hasn't done yet. And I just want to add that I think the shipbuilding was one of the coolest parts about Starfield. I'm sure the new version of the Creation Engine had something to do with the success of that. Like, probably. Dude, I spent many hours just designing different ship variations. Even if I couldn't afford all the upgrades, like, I would just scrap it and just, like, see what else I could build. And like I mentioned before, I think the game is beautiful. Like, it's not super realistic or anything, but I don't think a game has to be 100% realistic to be beautiful. And even though the
Nobody's
facial
trying to play Star Citizen. Star Citizen's way too fucking realistic, man. They try way too hard. It's like, you're only gonna get a niche fan base playing Star Citizen.
It's also my opinion that the body animations, like walking and stuff, like, they were all handled really well. Like, surely it can be buggy at times, but that's expected. It's Bethesda. But going back to the scope thing, Bethesda specializes in restrictive playgrounds that seem larger than they actually are. Believe it or not, it would take you around like 30 minutes to an hour to run from one side of Skyrim's map to the other. But when you're actually playing Skyrim and you're not concerned with the boundaries of the map, it seems like it would take you like several hours. You're not even thinking about how long.
Well, because you're getting distracted by so much shit on the journey on the way there. So like, it takes you forever. There's so much shit in between point A and point B, and that's why it's like it's so immersive.
It would take you because something else just grabs your attention as soon as you begin to feel bored or lost. And I think that right there is what the Creation Engine is good at. The Creation Engine is great for small, condensed content filled maps. It allows the developers to use the right loopholes in the right ways, and it uses limitations in a way that you don't really go out of your way to look for. Starfield felt weird for me because it was like, oh, here's a big empty planet, and here's 999 more just like this one. That's what I mean when in my other videos I say Starfield just doesn't click. It feels like a Bethesda game when you're experiencing the in-your-face content like combat or dialogue, but the core of the game just feels missing. I know that in my last video, I kind of really shit on Starfield. I personally just think it's a bad game, but I just wanted to add in here, I don't want your opinion to sway if you think that it's a good game. If you believe that Starfield's a good game, I envy you, and I think that you should listen to someone else.
If you like a game, then like the game, man. Like, don't listen to anybody else.
Trying to prove to you that it's a bad
unless it's Concord
game, okay? Just wanted to say that and get that out there. So to answer the question if I think Bethesda should consider a different engine, absolutely not. I think it's clear.
I think they should, man. I don't agree. I think they should. I think it worked for some of the titles, but I think if they're going to go bigger, they should. Unless they can make that engine work.
That the Creation Engine has the ability to serve its purpose, and I don't think that the scope of the game is the only thing that matters, but it's definitely something that has stuck out to me. Creation Engine was made to make a 10-mile wide playground, not a f***ing universe. The hope that is
Yeah.
still within me regarding the future of Bethesda games is that I don't think Bethesda is dumb enough to change the formula with games like Fallout and Elder
They're
Scrolls.
not gonna change
I would
the
like to
formula for
think that Starfield was just Bethesda's way of poking the bear and seeing what happens. Like, props to them, like, for doing that. That takes some balls, man. Only this time, when they poked the bear, it got really angry and left a lot of bad reviews. So
Yeah.
hopefully they take the feedback and do a better job of managing their scope in the future. Thank you for
Yeah.
watching.
Hopefully.
I wanted to say thanks for all the support, all the new subs that I got from my first video. If you liked this video, let me know what you think about it. You know, any comments or whatever. Like, I'm really open to different opinions and disagreements as long as they're respectful. You know,
Nice.
I'll do my best to see your point of
He
view.
only has
But
100,
anyway,
871 subscribers. That's a good video for that.